with season two, it hit a little more closer to home. And the reason why I'm saying that is because as I transition through different parts of my life throughout this year, the topics kind of followed where I felt I was at with business, trying to grow business, trying to figure out what it is that I'm doing with business.
Welcome to the Entrepreneurship podcast with X.T.C. I'm Shalonda.
I'm Tristan.
And I'm Chris.
As an entrepreneur starting or growing your business, you may have a destination, but the journey getting there can be a trip. We want to be your travel companions and inject a dose of X.T.C as we explore real-life conversations about navigating the world of entrepreneurship in the U.S. and the Caribbean. Come take this trip with us.
Hello, Trippers. Welcome back. It has been an incredible season 2. We definitely mixed things up, switched things up. We're testing some things out on you. Hope you enjoyed it. But we are here for the season wrap-up of season 2 of the Entrepreneurship. Obviously, with my esteemed colleagues in the X.T.C here. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm getting official for the wrap-up here. But we are here, so we have the X.T.C, and I will do this for old time's sake. So I have all the way to the side here, I have the X.
Shalonda.
I got in my middle, my boy here, the T.
That just dropped the ball, Tristan.
Maybe season 3 he'll get it. And the C, Chris here, and again, just excited to be wrapping this season up. It's been incredible. We've had some awesome guests, a lot more guests than we had in season 1, and this new format, keeping things going. So to hold true to that with our 30-minute episodes, I'm going to jump right in here to what you sipping while you trippin'. All right, what you drinking, everybody?
Season, I don't want to call it a finale. Got me a bigger cup. I just wanted to see how much of the screen it takes up now. Just a bigger cup. These conversations about to dig deep and hit hard. So I got me a little something that goes good with iced tea, like a little iced tea lemonade mix,
There you go. How about you, Shalonda?
I have a little red drink here. It is not liquored, and it's not punch. It's to get the electrolytes going.
Oh, it looks like Kool-Aid.
No Kool-Aid.
So if you're trying to get electrolytes, my question is, what were you sipping while you were tripping yesterday?
That remains to be seen. That's top secret.
And today I just have my duo, not the trio. I got the water for the hydration here, and then I got takes 2 to tango. So I got the rum with the habanero and the mango.
Wow.
That's right. Got a little spicy, a little sweet, to just like my my fellow podcasters here.
I see how y'all do it, like finale kind of vibe. Y'all cutting back, and I just keep going bigger. Like I think we keep moving in opposite directions. Season started, I was like smaller cups. You guys were like, no, go big or go home. Now we're kind of going home. You guys are going like, no, we're gonna kick back.
Well, Shalonda was already pre-gaming yesterday, obviously, and I'm just trying. It's an evening recording, so I don't have the coffee here right now. I don't want to be up all night. It's already going to be too much excitement with this episode here. So,
but it's going to be a good one. So even without the libation.
Agreed.
So let's unpack.
Let's unpack this season 2.
I beat you to it.
Wasn't even your detour yet, Tristan.
I know. The effects of that drink are already, working on him. So let's unpack season 2, you guys. What were some of the highlights from your season 2?
Season 2, honestly, I was going back this morning, just reminiscing with all our amazing guests and conversations. I think everybody kind of had some great nuggets. We had Kanuma with the culture connection, dropping some wisdom there with the girlfriendism.
This is the last time you go first.
Yeah, well, what, you don't like girlfriendism, Tristan? Is that what you're saying?
No. I love the girlfriendism, and what it is that was exactly one of the favorites I was thinking to kind of kick it off was with Kanuma with the cultural. I was thinking like the cultural connection. But go ahead, tell us more about the little girlfriendisms. I got Joey, just so you know. So just when you mentioned Joey, I want you to know I already
so
had
I'm
him
not
in the
allowed
lineup. So go ahead.
So why, he's just your barber now? He can't be.
I thought I was doing a finale. He was like, nah. If it's gonna be the last one, that was your last cut. So.
No, we had awesome. We had Jamar, or Sincere, the Renaissance man. We had Joe Simmons. Yep. Brenda Koto was amazing.
Brenda was leveling up.
And Nadia, our behind the scenes, the N in the X.T.C N, but the N is silent when it comes to our front facing, but behind the scenes doing all the work. So, Shalonda, how about you? What was your highlights? I mean, I could go with through each episode here almost, but excited to hear what you have to unpack for us.
I think what was really cool about season 2 was not only the guests that we had, but the nuggets that they were able to share. We had a lot of things. They had a lot of things in common, because entrepreneurship, you go through similar struggles, trials, and tribulations. But what was interesting is they all came from different perspectives. Kimi shared from the cultural perspective. What I really appreciated about Joe's episodes was he took us back, right, in time, and kind of brought us to the present moment and what we need to do to build legacy and generational wealth moving forward. Jamar and Joey, I mean, they just brought the Cruisian flavor, the Caribbean flavor to I was looking at those and I was like, I hope the people in the mainland could understand our conversation. I think Chris has been around us enough that when we get into the little twang, he still understands. So this is officially bilingual now.
Tristan had the accent on thick when for Joey's episode, especially.
Yeah, I think people in the Caribbean appreciated having the Caribbean accent, but I'm not sure. I was like, did the people in the mainland really understand what we were talking about? But they dropped some really good nuggets as far as balancing family and being an entrepreneur with Sincere. And then with Joey was just like constantly looking for ways to improve your client experience. Even though your clients are happy, there's always opportunities to do better, to provide a more robust experience for them. So I really, really appreciate it. Don't get me started on Brenda. Like, Brenda's my girl. We were teasing her about those Louis Vuittons, but the girl, when it comes to fashion, she's on point. When it comes to business, she's leveling up. And she's just so motivational and so energetic. So I really, really like that about Brenda. And then, what can I say about Nadia? Like, she's like my little sister. For me, I just have mad love for this girl because she's so ambitious. She's really following her passion. She's not afraid to try new things. But all our guests just have such a special place in my heart. Some of them I knew a long time, like Kanuma, admittedly, is my sister. I've known her forever. And then Joey and Jamar, I've just kind of gotten to know them, but I find like each and every one of them just kind of put a special footprint on my heart, or a handprint, or a fingerprint. I don't know. What is it? Footprint, handprint, fingerprint on my heart throughout season 2. So that made it really special. I think that's one of the highlights for me that we did differently from season 1. Yeah, we had guests. We had great guests in season 1, like Sami and Warren and Keisha. They were also amazing. But I really, really liked hearing the individual stories.
Agreed.
In season 2,
and it was nice having the kind of the 2-part episodes with each of our guests, where we really got to dive into the deep content as far as their rhyme and reason for entrepreneurship and their topic, but then also really getting to hear their backstory and and why we chose them to represent those topics for this season. But I would be remiss not to bring up the episodes as well that we did not have guests, where Tristan and Shalonda were like, feuding brother and sister.
Was just like picking on me.
Keep doing this, and they're not gonna believe I like wrote my own segment. They're gonna be like, So
that collaboration delegation debate was.
It's still going.
My favorite.
It's still going.
My favorite.
But I appreciate this collaboration that we've had this season.
Well, absolutely.
With Shalonda delegating, we couldn't go wrong. That's how we did that. Chris, no, not on the keyboards. We need that. But no, with season 2, I really had an amazing time. With season 1, I really enjoyed season 1. However, with season 2, it hit a little more closer to home. And the reason why I'm saying that is because as I transitioned through different parts of my life throughout this year, the topics kind of followed where I felt I was at with business, trying to grow business, trying to figure out what it is that I'm doing with business. And it wasn't like we picked our guests, but the timing couldn't have been better. You know what I mean? So like for me, when we had the conversation with Kimmy about culture, it was funny because at that point in time, I was just we talk about doing business on island time and these different things and learning the culture. I think I was working with a production company from the States, and even just finessing just between both worlds, because part of the funny thing was that they were like, everybody's moving on island time, but when we say this time, you're here before this time, you're doing this before this time. Are you really from here? Is this how it really works? And just that experience to then go into the conversation with Kimmy, with having the conversation with Jamar, just talking about the family, and just the different perspectives as to where we were even speaking. I think we spoke a little bit before about just that balance, and we spoke about it off screen a lot. It's just helping me find that balance. So on the Entrepreneur Trip, guys, is not only what you guys see on screen, but there's a lot of different things that go on that takes place in our lives that we do reach out to each other and we do really speak to each other about. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was Joe, when we had a conversation with Joe about that generational wealth.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Shalonda, you were talking about your daughter and what it is you wanted to leave in place and how it is we wanted to do these different things. I was talking about my sons and how I just speak to them about certain things, hoping that they understand when the time comes, because I know it might be too much to grasp right now. And then we had the conversation with Joe, and I was like, oh, shit. Like,
but listen, I mean, even Chris is experiencing that journey with Hazel, because Hazel is boss lady,
Hazel is boss lady.
And I love it.
Bedtime. We don't interrupt that.
Was she on screen at one point in time, or she didn't make the screen time? It was just before
season 1. I think she made an appearance, but she has grown. I will have to bring her back on at some point. Obviously, season 2 is wrapping up, but and honestly, even for me, my transition this year moved up to Massachusetts from Florida.
Right.
And actually, because of the boss lady and that transition wasn't as easy as I had hoped as an entrepreneur. I didn't even talk about this all that much on the actual podcast, but I started another job where my entrepreneurship job is now going in tandem with that. So it was actually really impactful for me this season, listening to our guests and all the wisdom that they were bringing to the table. And it's I'm almost in a place where I can take my foot off the gas a little bit on my business and really recalibrate, rethink where I'm going to be going. And I think our guests really brought some, nuggets for me that I'm going to definitely take with me as I kind of restructure, rework what I really want to be doing. I mean, I was running my business for fun. Then it became a necessity, and I lost some of the passion, admittedly. And now I'm kind of coming back to, the heart of why I started what I started with You Do You. And so excited to see what comes into season 3, thanks to our guests here. But
So
wait,
we ain't even
before we
gotta
get
hit the detour yet, Chris. We ain't
okay,
gotta hit
okay.
it. This our last. I mean, we could do a little more. We could do a little more. We got
Is this a
structure in
pre-tour?
season 2. We could drink to it. Who I also want to speak about is Nadia though. Like
Mm-hmm.
Shalanda was saying, Nadia has become like our little sister, not just her little sister. She introduced Nadia to the group, and the beauty about Nadia from season 1 to season 2 is just seeing that
Yeah.
growth, and actually this time in season 2 being able to get her on camera,
Right.
get her in to actually have the conversation, because I feel Nadia reflects a lot of entrepreneurs that we know, and a lot of entrepreneurs that I hope are watching, and those are the entrepreneurs that I don't want to say don't really believe that they're entrepreneurs. Like, we're doing this, but it's there, but you know what? Let me help you out. Let me do this. And it's like they just want to play more of the background and not
Yep.
really acknowledge the fact that they're entrepreneurs.
Yep.
So I really, really appreciate her for coming out, because that's what it is that I saw. Like, Nadia's a person that we're doing this show for. Nadia's a person that we want to encourage, that we want to help her and acknowledge the fact that she's really good at what it is that she does, and that she can continue doing it as a business, because like you said, and like we're saying in season 1, your passion is about what it is that we're passionate about, the changes that we want to see. And we started this hoping that we'd inflict the change of encouraging other entrepreneurs, and Nadia to me just embodied that. So when I want to say, finally got her on, it just brought everything full circle to me. I've been picking on her. I've been dropping these little jokes throughout the episodes, but that is exactly why, is because Nadia to me just really embodies the audience that we wanted to touch, and the reason as to why we're doing this. So
you'll have to take our word for this, because we did obviously not have her on in season 1, and part of it was because she didn't feel she was ready to be on a platform as an entrepreneur who's able to speak from a level of confidence and experience. But it was awesome to see her honestly in these episodes this season, and the level of confidence that she came with. And because she is doing it, she does bring it for her clients, and it was just really cool to see that. So her growth, and our audience hasn't seen her in season 1, but from season 1 to season 2, just as our other teammate essentially behind the scenes, has really come out swinging. So
definitely is leveling up.
Yes, leveling
definitely.
up.
Yeah.
You ready to level up this detour,
It's a big
Tristan?
deal. According to Brenda.
No, let's hit this detour. I've been here too long. Let's go. Let's detour. I'm sorry, guys.
So he drinking.
We need longer wipes, Chris. We can't be doing this. Like, we need like a 10-second or something. The detours. So normally here's where it is. I normally kick our little puns, make fun of the things that work and didn't work. And we're entrepreneurs. And the detour for me is just talking about where it is I feel like we've had, I don't want to call them shortcomings, but I don't want them to feel like we've run perfect episodes all the time. I want to speak about being on Facebook and not really touching or getting the interactions or the reactions that we feel we should have been touching. We do understand that, it's, you go on the internet for entertainment, to be entertained, but this is educational stuff. And I know of other, I don't want to say businesses, of other people that talk real shit that gets better interactions. I'm on a Warren Buffett Instagram post thing where you see all these interactions for simple posts, and I'm like, we're dropping nuggets. These conversations look like the small statements that he just made, but we're a little more detailed. We're making it more I don't want to say feasible, Shalana. Help me with a word. Let's collaborate on this one. Like in English they say you got to break it down to a third graders level, and that's what I feel like.
It's easier to understand for sure. But we're not Warren Buffett, see.
We're
We don't
not
have
there
many
yet.
followers. I know this is your detour, but I think that even though this is part of entrepreneurship, right? When
Mm-hmm.
we started out 2022, we started out the year with just an idea of a podcast.
Yep.
So even though we may not have gotten all of the results that we were hoping to get, I think we were able to touch lives in this process. From the beginning of the year, where this was just an idea, to creating a website, to creating a podcast, to doing blogs, to taking a break, resetting, recalibrating, launching season 2. And now we're towards the end of the
Mm-hmm.
year. And we've done how many episodes and have how many guests and have impact
Yep.
how many people. Is it what we were expecting? No, but I still think that there's value in what we've brought.
Yeah.
Oh, by far.
And
Chris.
Warren Buffett also started not as the Warren Buffett that you're following today. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think to Shalanda's point, I'm honestly not so concerned about the numbers. Yes, quantity is great. But if somebody in our audience, even if it was an episode that had one of the fewer listens or whatever, but if somebody was able to take something from it and apply it to their life or their business, because that really is what this Entrepreneur's Trip is about. It's called the Entrepreneur's Trip, but it's not just the business. It's about who we are and what it takes to be an entrepreneur, the sacrifices that it takes, the commitment, which we've learned from a lot of our guests. But I think the bigger part is the impact, and again, it doesn't have to be to a large audience. That I think will happen as we grow and as our audience provides feedback as well. If you have received positive things or thought some episodes were maybe not so helpful, let us know, because we are in this together, growing together. We have also grown extensively, I think, from season 1 to season 2, just as individuals. Whether that comes across to our audience or not, I'm not sure, but I think I've taken a lot from this podcast as well. So as long as we're impacting ourselves and others.
I know we have 000 on the clock, but since Kristen got to get
we
extra
good.
time in my unpacking, I'm going to take extra time through his detour. I think not only have we grown individually, but I think we've grown as a group. I think that we have behind those scenes those really raw, honest conversations about our partnership, about our collaboration, about what it is that we're hoping to accomplish, but about why we started this podcast, whether we will continue this podcast. And when you think about it from that perspective of working together with 3 very different people, and then we have our team behind the scenes, Nadia, who has quite a bit of input as well. We're trying to balance what everybody's unique perspective is and come up with the best possible outcome. So I think that we've all grown not only individually, but collectively. And if you take that and apply it to entrepreneurship, that's part of growing a business, right? You might start out as a solo entrepreneur where it's just you and you could call all the shots and you're doing all the work. You're everything from the janitor to the CEO. But as your business grows, you add more people. And as you add more people, you have more personalities, more skills, more capacity. How do you balance that? How do you
balance
continue
it by delegating?
No, you do it by collaborating.
Oh, I'm not going to do this.
Here we go. I told you it wasn't done.
Ding, 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 ding.
It's not over. We gotta wrap up that debate for season 2.
I feel like I gotta get some like Mortal Kombat sound effects here, like finish him.
No. Why gotta be to finish him though, Chris? I knew he was biased. I always thought Chris was biased. But real quick, to wrap this detour up, and these were parts of what it is that we actually thought these segments symbolized. Because your detour is not just to point out the problems that we run into in business, but as to how it is we learn and we build from these problems. So I just want to tell you guys, thank you for always being here. Thank you for going through these segments with us. And just look a little deeper, dig a little deeper. you know, and you leave with some souvenirs.
Touche. That was smooth, Tristan. That was smooth.
I try, baby. I try.
He does.
So do I go first?
And he's getting better with the clock too, and the
I know it,
transition.
right?
I told you.
It's an improvement from season 1. I'm telling you,
Except for that unpack segment. I don't know. He did put the brakes on.
I know, right? We'll give him grace. It's a season finale. We'll give him grace on that.
But I just want to show y'all this real quick. Y'all see how much Chris is talking though? Do you remember Chris? I'm not gonna say. Go ahead, girlfriend. Go ahead.
Regarding the souvenir, one of the souvenirs is, if we just go back to your previous segment, you said pointing out the problems. And I was having this conversation with a client this week. I said, we have a tendency of assigning meaning to a situation. We usually assign whether it's a good situation or we assign whether it's a bad situation. In the detour, you use the word problem, right? And usually with problem comes a more negative connotation. I would like to reframe that as opportunities for improvement. Because it's something you would be willing to move towards as opposed to retract from. So that's my little nugget at souvenir, right? Is like, we need to be careful as entrepreneurs that words have power, and the meaning that we assign to certain situations are either going to tell us, okay, continue on this path and move forward because we see it as an opportunity of improvement. Or if we assign a more negative connotation to it, we're going to retreat and say, okay, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I need to go back and get a full-time job. And then we give up our dream, right? So
that's why I love it, big sis. I'm going to show you something.
Okay.
I'm going to show you something.
What?
From season 1 to season 2, you've been saying the same thing. You've been saying the same thing. And you spoke about it a little while ago when we spoke about the 3 personalities, different perspectives. We come together with one main goal. And you're consistent with it. And you've always been talking about positive energy and the way that we speak about things. So, like you said, I'm your, I don't want to say polar opposite. I'm not going to talk about Chris.
You're my detour, Tristan. You're my detour.
Well, like it's just that perfect balance, and that's one thing. That's my takeaway from this. I don't have takeaways for the episodes per se, but I wanted to do takeaways from Shalonda and takeaways from Chris.
Chris is our Zen guy.
I'm gonna get there.
That's always heavily
So with Shalonda always puts your positive energy into the situations. Like, it's about our perspectives. We don't look at it this way, but we always look at it I don't want to say the other way, but from a different perspective to always keep somebody else motivated. Unfortunately, I'm the person that like to hit you with the hard and raw. I only call it problems because I feel like once your back is against the wall, we could only go forward. And this is just to show like how our personalities work. And with Chris reminds me of me when I was in college. I remember at one point they told me something like, Tristan sits in a room and he doesn't speak, but when he speaks, you have to listen. And that's Chris. And that's Chris. When Chris speaks, he's just not speaking just to say, some people just say things to interject and be a part of the conversation. Chris has already sat here, analyzed the situation, and formulated his thoughts, because whatever it is that he says next, it's something that's going to propel you forward. Whether you understand it now or later, that's what it is. And these are my nuggets from, I don't want to say my team, our team. And working with you guys for these 2 seasons, I really love, Shalonda, your perspective on keeping things positive, always keeping things in a sense that we would motivate others. So Shalonda is my motivator, and Chris, you're my delegator. Now,
there we go.
Well, no, but Chris embodies that moment as to when it is you have to sit back and reflect before you make that next move. You want your moves to be calculated, and that's what Chris is. He's calculated in
No,
what it
not
is that he says.
calculated. No, not calculated. I don't
Oh,
think
here
Chris
we
is
go.
calculated. I think Chris is purposeful and he's
Mm.
impactful.
Mm-mm.
He's not about wasting his breath and his energy
I'll
just
drink
to
to that.
say something to say something. He's about how can I leave the best value when I say
Right.
something.
Guys,
And that's why I
stop.
love you both, Chris.
Stop.
I love
Uh-oh. Shalonda down.
Yeah,
It was
we
whatever
cracking
was
up
in that
tomorrow.
cup. It was
I
not
got my
electrolytes. It was not electrolytes.
And I swear my drink doesn't have any alcohol in it. I swear I'm sober, totally sober.
All right, guys, thank you for that. Honestly, I appreciate your take on that. I don't know if I always feel that my input is purposeful. Sometimes I am just quiet, but I think, to your point, I try to leave impact when I can, and that's part of why I'm even part of this podcast is. If there's anything from my experience that I can share, I want to, do that and with, people that I trust and I know who are bringing incredible experiences on their own. I know we are going way over time on the souvenirs segment here, but I did just want to kind of give a very brief recap of souvenirs that I found throughout the season. Big one with Kanuma or Kimmy is the fact that she was always part of so many different things or had her, her hands in so many different pots. But when she finally realized that they were all streamlined through helping, female empowerment or women empowerment, that she was basically able to justify doing all those things or do them with an intent of having a solid purpose. And I'm still actually looking for mine. I think I'm narrowing it down, but I do love the aspect of, whatever you're doing to have that one mission statement or purpose statement that you represent and want to share with the world. With Joey, I loved the fact that he basically, has been a barber, basically his whole life. That's all he's done, all he loves, but never rested on his laurels. He's always looking to innovate, create, find better ways to treat not only new customers and get new customers, but always making sure he's taking care of the people who have been there from the beginning. Jamar really, as a father, found a lot of impact just from how he brings his kids along. He's a Renaissance man. He has his hands in a lot of different things, but he's always trying to make an impact or leave a legacy for his children. Then we had Joe Simmons. I love Joe, but he had the whole the know like trust that really stuck with me as far as how to make an impact. Create a small community and build a bigger, or create that notoriety yourself and build outwards. But you have to be known, you have to be likable, and you have to be trusted for people to really start vibing with you. Brenda, I forget the exact quote, but she said something along the lines of basically if you want better things or want to do better, that basically you have to be better yourself. And really love that just from an accountability standpoint. You can blame the world for why your business is failing, but if your business is failing and you want something better, figure out how to be better yourself to correct that. Who am I missing here? Nadia, obviously. Nadia, definitely, she said the host has to post. And yes, I think Tristan and I are the big violators of that, but sharing your own content.
In a season to myself, so we're all guilty.
We are all guilty, but yeah, I mean, we're putting this content out here. We want to make an impact, but if we're not sharing it ourselves, then we're only doing a disservice. And so, that's, you got to scream, and support your business from the rooftops. I think Nadia mentioned it, if it's like, your baby, out there playing like a sports game, of course you're going to be cheering them on from the stands. You have to do that, for your business on social media. And then the episodes with, just the three of us here, the fact that there was, the whole debate of the collaboration versus delegation, but the fact that, we as entrepreneurs, still come together. We understand that we might have different ideas or different viewpoints on a certain subject, but understanding that there's value in that, and that if somebody opposes you, you can still stand firm with what you're believing, but you can also say, well, I'm going to hold on to that. Let me think deeper about that because I've been challenged, and maybe I don't have all the answers. So that is my brief season 2 recap here. And
Chris, it wasn't so brief because
it wasn't so brief.
On zero for a while. Clock's been on zero.
But see, I started mine when it was already on 0, so you don't have any idea how much time I just took.
I wasn't counting.
Well, let's take in The View, our last one of the season. All right. So I found one little quote that to me just kind of encompasses entrepreneurship in general, or how I look at it. A Winston Churchill quote, and he said, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." And I think a lot of our entrepreneurs and guests brought that this season, where success is not final. We have all different changes. We take on different forms or different paths as entrepreneurs than maybe we set out. But failure is not fatal.
That's the money.
Yeah, when we do have our setbacks, to Shalanda's point, they might not be problems. They are opportunities to grow. And again, I mentioned, I'm now juggling full-time, a real job, a day job, which is great. It's aligned with my business, but now my business is kind of a side thing, or something that I am doing in the the after hours and on the weekends, but understanding that it's not a failure, it's just an opportunity for me to recalibrate and make my business even better than it was before. But the courage to continue, that counts. And that is it. I've had setbacks or things didn't go the way I planned them to go. But that is not a fatal failure. It's my opportunity to learn and come back as a better business owner, manager, go from solopreneur to managing other people and having the confidence to do that with the business. So that's kind of been my my season 2 takeaway.
Shalanda, you have done well. You have groomed our little cricket into a grasshopper. He spoke for about 2 minutes out of 3 minutes. I am so proud of him, Shalanda. You have done well.
Listen, we could count on you for the comic relief when it comes to okay.
One more season, he got this whole segment by himself. We'll be on the back end like, okay, Chris. Okay, Chris.
Well, I want to say I'm proud of Tristan in season 2, because the reason we implemented the shot clock in season 2 was because Tristan couldn't stop talking about always bringing great information, though. But to your point, we're finding balance through this journey, through this trip. It is, you can have an itinerary planned and it looks great on paper, but when you're actually out there trying to catch that plane or catch that appointment and stuff, it's a whole different ballgame when you're living it. And I think the three of us have grown individually, together as a team, as co-hosts of this podcast, and then hopefully again collaborating with our audiences, not delegating, but collaborating with our audiences.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris.
I will delegate to our audience to like, share, comment on our posts, provide us feedback. But our collaboration is we are all on this together, and it's been a ride. Season 2 continues.
Yep.
Right. And could I go a little more? I just want you guys to know at the end of the day, like he said, it's not just about liking and subscribing. Free to message us. Whatever information, we don't hold back. We don't mind sharing. This podcast wasn't for us, but it was for us to you. You know, it's something that we just did because we wanted to reach out, be a part of something, let you guys know that we could be a part of something bigger within our community, within wherever it is that we are. So welcome to the Entrepreneurs community. I hope you've enjoyed our trip. And while we relax and recalibrate, we'll see you next time.
Cheers, Eric. I'm going to cry.
Oh, no, Solana, don't do it. No more for you. We saw what happened to the camera a little while ago. No. Oh. Credits, Chris. Hit the credits. Camera's going. Camera's...
Gonna have to cut Shalanda off from those electrolytes. All right. Thank you, Trippers, again for joining us for season 2. As always, it has been a trip. Love keeping it real with y'all. Love keeping it real with Shalanda and Tristan. And you know, let's keep this journey going. Keep the good fight going. So we'll see you on the flip side.
Thank you for taking this trip with us. We hope you had a great time. Join us every Tuesday for another dose of X.T.C. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and visit us at theentrepreneursstrip.com for more entrepreneurship tips and trips. See you next time.